Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Good morning, everybody. Extravagant Fragrances here again. So really quick, there was just a thought that just crossed my mind, and that was, what would you do if you had $1 million? If you stumbled upon $1 million today, tomorrow, whatever day, right? And you had your feet already in the personal fragrance industry, what would you get? And you can put it down in the comment section. What would you get? What would you buy? And how much of it would you buy? What route would you take? What would you do? Where would you go? Right? And this is just something to think about, because I've been in this industry long enough to see people who have stumbled upon a lot of money. I mean, we're talking guys that maybe they're leaving the hotel business, right? Or they're leaving the gas, they got gas stations, right? For example, right? And they're like, okay, where do I move this money now? Brother so-and-so over there, is a multimillionaire because now he's in the body oils business. But what they fail to see is that he's been in it for 15 plus years, 20 years, right? He's taken the time to learn the industry, to build connections with the customers. So it's not quite that simple where, boom, you just set up shop and all of a sudden people just come flooding in. It could be that way depending on your location. If there's already, the area is already well known for people to buy those kind of things, right? Otherwise, you really have to establish a relationship with the customer. And so that goes down to, again, say, for example, you had $1 million, you stumbled upon that, a large sum of money, you had inheritance, whatever, right? You have to think about, okay, I'm going to order fragrances in bulk, right? And I found the sources, right? You got the sources, okay? You already know, you had a friend that turned you on to the top places to buy, right? But one thing that you have to consider is, so you're going to get, a drum of this, a drum of that over there, right? However many pounds of this fragrance or that fragrance. Something you have to consider, and this even goes to like being on a small scale. When I first started, I bought like a whole bunch of fragrances from one supplier, and really I was just throwing stuff at the wall, just hoping that it stuck. And I found out very quickly that out of this large amount of oils that I bought, that there was only a few that really stuck. There was only a few that really turned out to be good fragrances. So that's the thing, is you have to kind of look, you kind of have to look at what is going on in your local market. What do the people like in your local market? You have to test it with the locals. You have to test it with, say, people from out of state, because, and there was another older vendor that schooled me on this, and he was saying that you have to know what's going on locally. He's like, and you also have to know what's going on throughout the nation. What's trending throughout the nation? There's some states that cool water is trending, right? Something that like old throwback fragrances, right? Dracar, right? Like those are fragrances that are trending in certain areas. So, and then you have other areas that are a little bit more like, we want the latest thing that latest Maison Francis, right? So those are some things to consider. And also testing the fragrance, testing the quality of the fragrance. You don't want to like just throw money at the wall and hoping it sticks. For example, in that situation, that, let's say, again, like you come up on $1 million, for example, right? And you're like, oh, I found the source. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to buy one of everything that they have, because you don't know what the customers are going to want. That would be a process, for example, that you really would want to take your time. You really want to just sit there, and it's almost, I would say there will be almost it's kind of an art, in a sense. It's kind of, you have to kind of take an artistic approach, in a sense that not that you're the designer, or not that you're designing the product and actually physically having your hands on it and making it, but the sense that you are kind of, I would say it would be the equivalent of somebody who's a DJ, and he kind of has to read the crowd and figure out who the crowd is, right? To kind of understand what they want, right? What will get them going, right? And so that's how it is with fragrance, is you kind of have to read your crowd. You kind of have to know, like, what are they going to take to, right? And kind of read them out, right? It takes a lot of using your intuition. And so that's just some things to consider if you are on the sideline, if you're a small investor, if you're a big investor, like moving into the personal fragrance industry, especially the oils with spray colognes, like the originals. That's something different. You guys already have the commercials and the advertising. So you could set up shop and just start selling products right away based on what the advertisements and the marketing, what kind of marketing is going on. But when it comes to personal fragrance oils, it takes a lot of time to select. And so actually that's going to be part of the agenda today, is I'm going to be sitting down to select and also go through what are the colors. That's another thing you kind of have to look at, is what the colors. Getting the colors right, getting the sillage right, the quality of the product. And if you can get that, all of those check boxes are checked off, and the price is right, you're in the business. You are definitely in the business. So this is just a few things to consider when it comes to going in and buying, your first, let's say your first, kit, right? Or if you are a bigger investor, when it comes to moving in, you're gonna dive into this market. That's something to consider, because otherwise, then you don't want to be wasting money. So, hope you like this. Hope this is helpful. And I'd like to know in the comment section, what would you do if you were able to stumble upon $1 million? What would be the first thing you would do? Would you invest into fragrance? Would it be something else? And if it's fragrance, which fragrances would you invest in heavily? I'd like to know. So like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.